you love movies and movie discussions, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am the Wiz, and I'm here today with...
Kim Shactman.
Kimmy, how you doing today?
Good, good.
Good, good. Did you have a rough week again, or has this been a better week?
Not too bad.
Not too bad?
I'm a little sad that today's so gloomy outside.
You are in, like, the upper north of the country. I'm in the tri-state area, and it is pretty crappy out there, so...
Yeah, we usually have similar weather, like you and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Unfortunately. All right, so we are here to review the 2003 comedy Old School, starring Will Ferrell, Luke Wilson, and Vince Vaughn, directed by Todd Phillips. Kim, I'm going to assume that the only reason why you had this theme this week is because you wanted to watch Old School.
Well, kinda.
Come on.
Kinda. I mean, you know, Wiz and I were going through the list, so the reason why we came up with this theme, it was kind of like Oktoberfesty because, you know, it's the beginning of October. Mm-hmm. And usually Oktoberfest runs the end of September into the beginning of October. And we were, you know, we like doing the themes every week. I think it's fun, different. Mm-hmm. It gives you and Zero something to shoot for too, and vice versa. So, you know, Wiz said to me, well, what theme should we do this week? And I'm like, I don't know, let's focus on beer. That was like our whole thing, right? So we pulled up a list of like movies like that include a lot of beer drinking, and Old School just happened to be on that list, and I was like, oh, such a classic comedy. I was like, this is great. It's really funny because I looked at the year it came out, and I was like, holy shit, that's the year I was supposed to graduate high school, 2003. And I was like, this all makes sense now. So yeah, a little bit of a blast from the past, but
yeah.
Yes, we chose Old School because of the beer drinking.
Well, you chose Old School.
Well, I chose Old School, yes.
I gave, like, what we do is I choose and you choose.
Every other week.
Yeah, so that's usually how it goes on this one. So, yeah, I was watching this and I was like, oh, this really isn't about beer drinking, but okay, I get why
Kinda,
you... Yeah.
You know, it has a lot of it in it,
this
so
would
it
have been
kind of works.
This would have been more fitting on our back-to-school thing, but not really. Yeah. But, yeah, okay. So why don't we just get right into it? We're going to get into the review of Old School, directed by Todd Phillips. I think the one thing that we can both agree on when it came to this film is that they don't make comedies like this anymore.
No.
And
oh, God. It was just... Yeah.
Yeah. And we're not even just talking about the subject matter. We're also talking about just the style of film it is, where it just basically is just comedy for comedy's sake. We just... everything is done in this movie to get a joke in.
Everything.
Because, like, comedy...
From start to finish.
Right. Because comedies nowadays, it feels like, there might be some exceptions, but it just feels like comedies nowadays, there has to be a message. There has to be a plot. There has to be something in there that makes it much more than it is a comedy. But this movie is more like... There
has to be, like, a feel-good portion, and, you know, like... does not just have that, you know? It's just so much more.
This film just is a movie that just cares about, okay, when's the next joke?
Right.
And there's reasons why they don't do this anymore. One, I think just people are way too sensitive now, and they...
Yes.
That's kind of a cop-out. I know there's a lot of people who don't feel that way, but it just seems like the loudest of the loud people seem to be incredibly sensitive.
It's a different generation.
I don't even think it's a generational thing anymore. I think it's just the way our culture is now. I will say in the past I would say, oh yeah, these kids, what a bunch of pussies. I don't think it's that way anymore. I think now some people have the excuse of doing it. Now everyone's making the excuse to now be like that. And it's incredibly stifling and annoying. Not only for, like, movies, but for comedy as well. Like, comedy...
And just incredibly different. Like, incredibly different.
I will just say this. I just don't think it's funny. Like, I see a lot...
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I see a lot of new comedians now, like, right now. And I sometimes I will watch something they do, and I don't laugh once. So one thing is, it's either they don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, so it's a lot of comedy where it's like, oh...
Trying to be.
Yes, trying to be. Or they go after one specific group, and it's just like, okay. It's like, why? Like, is that all the comedy is at this point? Like, some of the best comedians, like in our time, like let's say Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle.
You know who my favorite is?
Who?
Bill Burr.
Oh God, Bill Burr.
I just love him so much.
But they go after everyone.
Everyone.
And it just seems like now there's too many people that are protected and are protected from getting made fun of or getting criticized. And then when that happens, it just seems like everyone's afraid to criticize everybody at this point.
At this point, it tarnishes their image, like the comedian's image. And then it becomes this big, it's like they can't ever crack a joke anymore. Like, it's just a nightmare for them.
Yes and no. I mean, they will get controversy. But what's happening more and more now is it used to be like maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. Once you got labeled something, your career's over. Mm-hmm. Now it's more like you take a break, you come back because everybody's like, wait, that was kind of BS anyway. And then you're bigger than ever.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right on that.
I do agree. There's a subset of people that, or most people, just don't want the controversy because you get dogpiled online. You have the mainstream media going after you. You have,
but I also think
it
depends on how popular you were from the beginning.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Like if you were like a Chris Rock and you said all that stuff now that he used to, do stand up on, like, yeah, he would definitely probably get like shamed for like, a year or two, and then he'd come back bigger than ever.
Would he? Would Chris Rock?
I don't know, but but then if you have somebody
Dave
that's
Chappelle,
like,
yes, I would say Dave Chappelle, yes, but
yeah.
I don't think so with Chris Rock. I haven't seen all Chris Rock specials, but I think Chris Rock would get away with it.
Yeah, but then you have like people that are just starting out in comedy, and if they act like that, forget it.
Oh yeah, no, they can't, and I think it's kind of stifling. Again, like I'm not big into comedy, so if someone was like, "Well, have you tried this one?" Obviously not. I don't know that, but that's just what it feels like, and it really seeps into movies too. Because name a comedy in the past 10 years that you can think of that you actually enjoyed. I have a very hard time.
None.
Yeah.
Like none. I was talking to my husband about this, and he's just like, all the comedies suck nowadays. Like, nothing's funny.
And some of us or some people are going to listen to this and go, well, it's because you're old.
No.
I disagree too. Like, it's because you're old and things are passing you by and you're at your existential crisis where you're close to dying. I'm like, no. Stop it. Stop it.
That's a comedy in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like I always think about it. I have a good friend, and she has 2 teenage boys, and they're like 18 and 16, and like they don't watch any of the stuff out now. They watch stuff from like our generation because they're like, it's just funnier.
Yeah.
That came out like when we were teenagers. They're like, everything now just sucks for movies, and I'm like, You're not wrong.
And what people don't realize, I think a younger set to realize, is the jokes that are said in these aren't malicious. They're just poking fun. They're just like yucks.
Well, that's what comedy is. Like, it's just supposed to make you laugh. Like, they're not doing it to make people feel bad. Like, it's just a joke, and like, let's move on. Like, it's not real. Like, it's a joke.
No, absolutely. The problem also is, and this is what I couldn't believe we're getting into a dissertation on comedy these days, but I think it's just that people these days ascribe malicious intent to everything.
Everything.
I've had this happen plenty of times on social media where I just say something, they interpret it in the worst possible way possible.
Right.
So, and that's why a lot of people police their speech and why they change the way they say things, because I really don't want to get dragged. I really don't want to get bullshit.
Well, I even like find myself doing it too. I'm like, okay, no religion, no politics, no, certain things on my Facebook, even though I do have some opinions on them, but I just don't post it anymore.
No, I stopped posting anything political, religious, or anything along those lines probably a decade ago. The odd thing is, The same people who will say, "Oh, people are too sensitive these days," are the same people who would drag me for some of my opinions.
Yeah,
that's why I think it's really not. It's not fair to ascribe that to the youth. I just think when a certain subset of people are doing it and they thrive, everyone does it, and then when that happens, it's just a complete clusterfuck after that point.
Yeah, it's just not even worth getting into it.
So, good movie.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Such a good fucking movie. I don't care what anybody says.
No,
It will always, old school will always have a place in my heart.
And honestly, it's just, like I said in the beginning, all it is basically, the plot is, I wouldn't say it's non-existent, but it's so threadbare that it doesn't really even matter.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It's just so fucking funny. It's like joke after joke after joke.
Right. And it's not like crazy things are happening in every scene, but like everything in the film, there's a joke.
Or a punchline, or like, it's just so funny.
Right.
Oh,
like,
God.
Like, if it's not Will Ferrell doing something crazy, it's Vince Vaughn saying something.
Mouthing off.
Yeah. And it's
just like, oh, God.
And it's Luke Wilson being like, "Oh, shucks, guys."
They're so good, and like the three of them just complement each other like there's no tomorrow.
Very much so. So let's get into performances.
Yeah, let's do that. Like, it just didn't so I mean, I've seen this movie a bazillion times, but I hadn't seen it in quite some time, so I was like, oh, I'm excited to watch this again. It just didn't dawn on me because, again, I haven't been doing movie reviews with you forever, so it just didn't dawn on me until I started kind of critiquing the movie in my head when I said, wow, like, these three really complement each other.
Yeah, they work incredibly well, and I think that's why this movie works, because you have these three different actors who are different comedians in their right. Like, Will Ferrell does outlandish shit. Yeah. Vince Vaughn is very verbose, and Luke Wilson is Luke Wilson.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah, whatever.
He's a cutie.
Yeah,
like, I'm just like, aw.
He's got like an aw shucks nature to him. Like, he's got like a homely kind of.
He's like he just gets like peer pressured into everything, and then he ends up loving it.
Yeah, he's got like
in the film.
Yeah, he's got like a Bob Newhart kind of thing where it's like, I guess.
The dude like doesn't age either. I like looked up the characters now, and he looks like the same.
Yeah, like him and Paul Rudd just don't age.
Yeah, like ever. I'm like, damn, what are you eating or drinking?
Like Will Ferrell now is just like, oh my God, dude. But like
even Vince Vaughn, I looked him up. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, Vince Vaughn. Yeah, he's interesting. Yeah, like their performances are great in this. I think Will Ferrell's the best thing about this movie, and then mainly because I think his scenes are probably the best ones in this movie. Like when he goes into like his Frank the Tank mode, or when he starts just going crazy. It's just like, it's instantly funny.
Yeah, like he's just like you said, he does like the largest outlandish things that then kind of like show like the trend or the moment of the scene, like the movie and each scene. Like it just kind of like puts a bow on it. Like, but I mean, I don't know. I love Vince Vaughn in this film. I think he like, and again, and I think too, it's the writing, but it was like like his scenes were written for him. Like it was just so funny.
I wouldn't be entirely surprised if a lot of this is actually done off the cuff. Like these are both Vaughn and Ferrell are comedians and actors who like to like just ad lib. Yeah, they like to ad lib, especially Ferrell. Ferrell is like Robin Williams, where he'll come up with something on the fly and goes, "Oh, I'm going to do this," and it will annoy the director sometimes, but it sometimes works. So other performances, there's
a lot of like supporting character. Like there's a lot of people in this film. Like I didn't realize it until I was looking through all the characters. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, like I think the main one I want to talk about is Ellen Pompeo, and
I was just gonna say that.
Right, and the reason why is I don't hate her in. Like
she's cute. Yeah,
she's
cute.
Good. She's likable. Always smiling. Always just like a very likable, character, which is the complete opposite of the character she's been playing for 20 years on TV.
What's the thing? Like, it's just really funny because I'm like, yep, there's Meredith Grey. Like,
I know. Like, you were into Grey's Anatomy, right?
oh yeah, I've seen like all of them.
Oh, have you? Okay. I stopped when George died. And George is my favorite character, but they were doing him dirty at that point. Anyway, back to the movie. The funny thing about Grey's Anatomy always has been with me is that I think the show was great, except I hate the main character. I can't stand the main character.
You hated Meredith?
I hate Derek too. So it's just not Meredith, it's also Derek. So when there's episodes about them all the time, it's like, oh god, this sucks. Like, these are terrible. And Meredith is just the type of character who is like, there's a body that it just got shot 15 times. It's like, all these bullets on this corpse is reminding me of Derek and how my love for him is like a bunch of bullet holes in my... Oh, bitch, someone's dying! Yeah. What are you doing?
Help them! Oh my god. Yeah, I definitely think in Grey's Anatomy, not to like go down a rabbit hole, but Grey's Anatomy, like, she's not the best like character in that TV series.
No.
Like, there are so many other better like characters.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, oh god.
Like you said, George, and then
George.
there's Izzy, and
Hell,
then...
McSteamy was pretty cool.
Oh, I loved him.
A lot of women loved him for obvious reasons.
Oh,
but
God.
Yeah. But yeah, like, okay, let's get past Ellen Pompeo. She was good in this. Like, she was good in this and another movie called Moonlight Mile. And
I haven't seen that. But I must say, like, I liked her performance in this too, and I liked the writing for her character. Like, I think, just like with Vince Vaughn, like, the way they wrote for his character, like, it just fit. She did it so well, and I just love how well she acted and was like nonchalant about like the things that were transpiring right in front of her face.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, we'll just, that's fine. Like, you do you and I'm going to do me, and, maybe I'll see you around.
Yeah, right. Like, utterly likable, like incredibly, like, which is the exact opposite I've seen from her in the past 20 years.
Yeah,
which is terrible to say because she's in one of the most popular shows ever. But I've hated her character. Well,
I must say, like, you only watched up until George died. I think she gets a little bit better as time goes on.
Sure,
though. Like not terribly better, but like enough to be like, okay, she's fine. Like.
It kind of sounds like you're in an abusive relationship when it comes to Grey's Anatomy, because you're like saying,
yes.
I've been with her for 20 years.
I can't let her go.
Yeah.
It's just...
there's some good in her. I can see it.
It is the way it is. We'll just
see
keep it around.
I can see some good in her. So it can't be all bad, right? Oh, Kim, you poor girl.
I don't even know. Is that show still on?
It is still on.
I feel like it is. I haven't
think,
watched it in a little bit, but I've seen almost all of them.
If I remember correctly, she just left the show.
Oh, damn. Thanks. Just spoiled that for me, bitch.
If you haven't been watching it, like... if Dr. Bailey's still there, I'm good. Like, Dr. Bailey.
I like that character. It's a good character.
Yeah.
Anyways, but she was good. She was good in Old School. She's, it's just funny to see her. She looks so young.
Yeah. I guess the other performance they point out is Jeremy Piven as Dean Pritchard. Is odd to see him in this role after seeing him in probably what his most famous role is, which is Entourage.
Oh, I've seen like a few of those.
Then you've seen them all.
Okay.
You've seen them all. Basically, the show is star is famous, he gets laid, Jeremy Piven screams at somebody. That's the series.
Okay.
Essentially. Right. And just seeing him in this was like, oh wow, he can play different characters. That's cool, I guess.
I thought he was like fine, like.
Yeah, he plays utterly detestable very well, I guess.
Yeah, I also do. I mean, I don't know. Like, is it really like a hard role to play?
I mean,
I feel like it didn't seem like it.
I mean, he's not on the screen for too long, so it's not like he's that important of a character.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Which is an issue that I have with the movie, specifically to get into writing. But yeah, like it's not too bad. It's enough to get the plot along.
Right.
Like, but his character also could have been pretty much taken out, I think.
You think so?
Well, I'll get into that why in writing. But yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I don't. I think it was. I think that it was needed.
Any other performances? Do we have to talk about our boy Blue?
Dude, he's so old. Just so old. And trust me, if you guys watch the film, you'll obviously know what we're talking about. But like, dude is so old, but he's so funny. He's just, and he doesn't even like really do anything. He's in the film for like 3 seconds. I mean, he's such a huge part of Will Ferrell's life. Oh God!
I would not be surprised if it's one of those things where Will Ferrell saw that guy and goes, "I'm using them."
Yeah. He's in the movie. Like, we're doing this.
Not like he's in the movie. It's like he just saw him on set and goes, "I'm incorporating him more in my jokes." That's it. It's done.
I mean, even like the wife, like when at the beginning and they get married, whatever. The wife and then all the women, like there's some scenes in there that are pretty funny. I'm looking through the list of characters. I forgot that Lee Remini is in this.
Like she barely does anything in this movie except scowl.
Yeah, but like she's like, oh, and then Sean William Scott.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just a funny ass fucking movie.
Yeah. So you want to get into writing?
Yeah, let's do it.
So like we mentioned at the beginning, this isn't Shakespeare. Okay, basically, the movie is, I need an excuse to get a joke across. So that's what every scene is for in this.
Right.
Which, it works really well, except in the third act, where it slows down when the dean basically screws over the quote-unquote fraternity and what they have to do in order to stay where they are. And I think that slowed the film down. I think it was kind of unnecessary for the type of film that it was.
We talked about this a little bit in our last review, but then it's like, so how would you have ended it?
Honestly, I would have made it more about 3 guys, mainly Luke Wilson, because his character is really the central character in the film. I would have made it just a film where they would just start learning. One realizes, man, this may be not the thing I really want. And Will Ferrell's character definitely wants this kind of life. So he does it. And then Vince Vaughn is just like, I'll be in and out, whatever. Just something along those lines. Just do it organically that way and just do more jokes throughout that point. I just think the forced plot line of the dean and this fraternity, I just think slowed the jokes down. I think it
did a little bit. But then at the same time, like, there's still a few, like, and not so much like verbal jokes, but like just watching, like, that I just found hilarious.
The fat guy on the vault.
He's got the little Indian spotter.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't. Like, I literally, like, I think I was drinking like an iced latte when I watched it. I watched it this morning, and I almost spit out my drink because I forgot how funny that little teeny part was. Like, I don't know, just like little things like that. And like, I mean, I don't want to give it away for our audience.
Well, we just did, but anyway.
We did, but whatever. Like, we can give away one thing.
Yeah, sure, one.
But yeah, so, like, there's just some scenes in there where I'm just like, it's kind of funny. I still thought it was funny. Like I still think I still think some of those scenes were funnier than the comedies today. Like, what I mean?
Yes. No,
I get what you're saying though. Like, I don't think it was necessary, but I still thought it wasn't bad.
I think for a movie that is jokes a minute, literally,
like then you can see the slowdown. Like, it's more like obvious. Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing the film does as well is that when the film does start to slow down to character work, they pepper in a joke. Like, one of the funniest ones is when Mitch and Nicole are at his office, and then suddenly the Pludges come by. It's like, we got a problem.
You weren't going to give away any jokes.
I'm not giving away the joke. But he goes, hey, we got a problem. I was like, what's the problem? And then they tell him the problem. It's like, oh, God.
And he's like, I told you, not at work. Never come by my office.
I know. And then, like so you said funny. With Ellen Pompeo's Nicole, she was just like, yeah, well.
She's like, okay. Like, she's like, what's that all about? And he's just like, nothing. Okay, have a good day. Like, what the fuck?
All right. That's the writing. The writing is gut ton of hilarious jokes. and then it just slows down at the end, which I thought was.
But I kind of liked it because I mean, it made the movie a little bit longer, and I didn't want the fun to stop. Like, it was just so good.
Okay.
Like, I feel like if they took that whole part out and kind of like put something else shorter in, or more like just quick joke filled, it would have like not made the movie as lengthy.
I'm not even saying that I wanted the film to be shorter. I just think that what they did in that third act was like
it's just obvious.
It's kind of unnecessary. That's
I
fine.
Still enjoyed it. I liked it.
Know.
I was fine with it.
Direction.
The direction of making me laugh out loud to the point where I'm gonna piss my pants. Yeah, hell yeah. But other than that, it's like, meh.
I mean, yeah, like the comedic timing of the movie, the tone, I think, is really well done. Again, like, and I think this is what a lot of people these days who want comedy to be so to be like so stringent on not hurting feelings or not pissing people off or whatever is, you know, there is tone to this, and the film isn't a malicious film. It is pretty lighthearted, even though a lot of fucked up things happen.
I know. Like in all the three men's like relationships. Except for Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn is just more like...
Well, Vince Vaughn just verbalizes everything.
He's like career driven in this film.
Well, not only that, I will give away this joke, but this is such a standard joke.
Hey, I'm going to say it right now. You're doing it, not me.
Yeah, okay. I just like, in the very beginning of the film, I was like, oh, you're making a mistake. One pussy for the rest of your life.
And they're standing at the fucking altar. and Luke Wilson is just standing there silent because he's like, I'm not getting into this. Like...
And he's like,
and Will Ferrell's like, thank you guys so much for being here. It means so much to me. And he's just going on, and he's like, and then he like brings the bride up, and he's like, you look so pretty, and he starts coughing, like, don't do it, Paul. Like,
or he talks to the desk like it takes a real man to let your angel go without crying.
And he winks at him. I'm like, oh my god, that's what I mean. Like from start to finish, that was like the very beginning of the film. I'm like, I just can't take it. It's so funny. Like, oh god.
Okay.
So we let a few jokes slide,
of course,
but that's okay. It's like too much. I just can't.
Direction-wise, I don't think the film is malicious. I don't think it's making fun of somebody. I don't think it's being hurtful to anybody. It's just good fun, and I don't.
Life is hard, and like it shows in this movie that life is hard, but it can also be funny and fun.
And I could see somebody going, "Oh, you think it's just good fun to make fun of somebody like that?" Like, yeah, sometimes, sure. People make fun of me all the time. Do I get bent out of shape about it? No. Like like
who gives a shit?
Like Kim does it all the time.
Yeah, that's
Kim does it all the time.
That's right.
Do you know how many times that she said that I had a small penis and she's never even seen it?
Oh,
you know
totally.
What? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not the type of person who sends dick pics. Absolutely not. Well, there was that one time.
Not to me.
Oh, you weren't the one? Uh-oh, who was that?
Oh, God.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God save their soul.
Oh, it was your husband. I'm sorry. No wonder why your husband thinks I'm weird.
He's like, oh, you doing that podcast again with that dude?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that's what he says. So, doing with Wiz, huh? I was like, yeah, honey, absolutely. It's like, I don't know what you see in him.
Oh, God. Yeah. I want to like watch it again now. It's just so fucking funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
If you don't get offended easily, like, and you're having a bad day, just put this fucking film on.
There's nothing to get offended by in this.
Well, movie. I know, but you know what I mean.
I know what
for all the fucking pussies out there. I don't know. It sounds mean saying that, but it's just like, what the fuck?
No,
come on.
It kind of is. Because, like, I think the thing that annoys me the most is even people who say all that shit. Okay, who say like, oh, comedy isn't funny when you're punching down, will then laugh at something when something is punching down. Like, it's just like, oh, God, you guys are...
So what do they laugh at?
They laugh at what they are allowed to laugh at.
Oh, that's just like society controlling you as a person. Like, why don't we all just become robots and call it a fucking day?
I know. Like, it's like...
Oh. The direction, like, I just love this movie.
Oh yeah, it's funny as hell. I have to agree, and it's a good time. That's the other thing about
It's such a good time. Like, it's also too, like, I mean, I don't know from a male's perspective, but like from your perspective, like, I mean, don't you just wish you could have done some of the shit in this movie? Like,
Not
it's
really.
just so funny.
Not really. That's just not me. I know a lot of guys are this way. Absolutely,
like
not
partied
me.
and like no.
I don't like partying. I don't like being around a lot of people.
Okay, even when you were young.
Yeah, even when I was young. It makes sense. A lot of what I'm going through right now.
Well,
makes
you're
sense
no
now.
fucking fun. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I've had friends and girlfriends tell me this. Yeah, I'm not that much fun.
Like some, I mean, I guess other men that like, they want to relive their youth.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. This is the film.
That's the theme of this film, really,
film
if you think about it.
Yeah, like, I want to relive my crazy youth. And I guess because my youth wasn't that crazy, I was like...
I don't really need to relive it, because it's similar to how I am now.
There you go. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I can see the comedy. I get it. It's funny. And it's like... I don't have to be someone who is into that scene to recognize how a lot of this is... Someone streaking is funny. I mean, come on.
One singular person.
I know. We're going streaking.
What are you talking about? With who, Frank? Everybody, they're coming. I just can't. It's just like, I can't stop laughing when I watch this film. Like,
a bit cold out there, Frank.
That's her like one best line of the whole movie.
Poor Leah Remini. God.
I like her.
I do too. I think she's funny, but she had nothing to do with this movie at all.
Yeah,
except a scowl and like say a one-liner, and that's it.
Well, she plays a good quiet wife, since Vince Vaughn is like fucking loud as hell, like talkity talk in this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
They have to balance each other out somehow,
I guess. All right, you want to get into final thoughts?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, go ahead, Kim. Final thoughts on Old School.
All right, so I give this movie a 5 out of 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I do, just because of the comedic value. I mean, if you can make me laugh the entire fucking movie, then yeah, you're gonna get a 5. Like, that's hard to do. As we discussed, nowadays, it's like, forget it. I barely laugh throughout comedies now, like, at all. Mm-hmm. But if you can make me laugh the entire movie, then you did a fucking good job. I could watch this movie over and over and over again and never get sick of it. Like, I just think it's hilarious. The 3 main characters complement each other so much that it's like, I don't know, like, I just didn't realize it until I watched it this time around, how well they worked together. But they're all different type of comedic styles, but they all mesh so well together. And it, like you said, it's just like a lighthearted, good fucking time. You cannot go wrong. Like, you cannot go wrong with Old School. Unless, again, if you're just like Psycho and you're like, no, that's so offensive. But like, I don't know. I really thoroughly enjoy the film. And I think the jokes are just so good. Like, they're so good. Like, if some of this happened in real life, like, it's what a lot of people are thinking, but don't want to say. Maybe some men, when they are at the altar, want to tell them to fucking run. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like what everybody's maybe thinking, but they don't want to say. And I love that they can put that on film and make it funny. 5 out of 5 for me.
Okay. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5. The film basically is jokes per minute, like I mentioned during the review. And the jokes per minute for like the first 2 acts are constant, and it's funny and it's entertaining. Mm-hmm. And I like you, I laugh throughout the entire time. The 3rd act slows it down. I think the 3rd act should have been a little bit different, and I think it should have continued what the first 2 acts did, while peppering in story. That's the thing with this movie, too. There are meaningful characters. It's not, like, deep, but there are character situations in the film that grow the characters while still being very funny in those first 2 acts. It's just, it just stops to like a crawl in the 3rd act, which I think with the dean, doing what he did, it just kind of went in a direction where it's like, that really wasn't necessary. Comedy-wise, hilarious, but it does slow down in the 3rd act, and I wish it was a little bit better on that end. So I'm going to give 3.5 out of 5 stars. Great movie. I think it's funny as hell, even to this day. 20 years old now. Like, it's still works.
That makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, I know.
We're so old.
Yeah, well. Well,
We're so fucking old.
Well, the funny thing is you don't look old. I've always looked old.
I mean, when you were, I guess, when you were a teenager, you did always look a little bit older, but you didn't look ancient when you were...
Kim.
I don't know if that was a compliment.
Okay, so... Well, I was in that weird spot where the girls my age thought I was too old looking, and the girls who were older thought I was too young. So that was a problem. But you know what one of my nicknames were in high school other than Wiz?
What?
40.
That's a lame fucking nickname.
But you want to know why? Because in my I went to another high school on top of the high school I went to for a specific program. And they would call me 40 because for the first week, they thought I was a teacher's assistant.
Yeah, but they couldn't come up with a better nickname than 40?
They were rich and entitled. They don't have to be that clever.
Boring.
They were fucking snobby as hell.
Boring.
So,
like, if you're gonna make fun of them, like, do it a little bit funnier.
Exactly. 3.5 stars out of 5 for me for Old School. 5 stars out of 5 for Kim.
Yes.
It's a funny movie. Give it a shot if you haven't. I mean, you probably have already. And if you have, watch it again. It's probably been a while.
Oh, it's so funny. Like the 5th time around, too. It's like, why not?
All right, Kim. Well, we are at the end of this episode, and we're going to go into what we're watching next week. Next week, I made the executive decision to make our theme Disney Pixar films. Saturday, what are we watching?
We are watching the 2000 film called The Emperor's New Groove, directed by Mark Dindal.
Boom, baby. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm just going to spoil my thoughts on this right now. I think this is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I think it's a hilarious.
We'll get into it next week, but I think I'm really technically watching this movie for the first time. So
okay,
I'll tell you guys why next week. But I'm excited to see it. I heard it's pretty funny, so I think it'll be good. And I'm a huge Disney fan. Like, I love Disney. My parents, growing up, they used to just like kind of shove us in front of the TV and put on like constant Disney movies. I'm excited to see it.
God, I saw this in the theaters in 2000, and this was around the time where I was like, I got to see every movie because I want to be a film critic. And I was stunned how much I laughed at this movie. It is such a funny movie. So anyway, tune in next week where we review The Emperor's New Groove. I am The Wiz.
And I'm Kim Shactman.
Talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.